This here's Clayton.
And this is Jim Bob.
And we're back with another episode of Campfire Stories with Dirty D.
Thirsty D.
Thirsty D.
Thirsty D, but I'm also dirty too.
We've been doing a little bit of drinking, as you can tell. This here, we got us a bottle of Rail Dog Smoked Black Lager.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks pretty damn neat.
This is, smoked black lager.
Now, I think this is a primo brew. What do you think?
I'd have to agree. I think it's primo.
It's primo. It's got a heavy, what's the word I'm looking for? Heavy,
Malt taste?
no.
Yeah. I
Heavy,
taste
Taste the barley?
Taste the grains.
Heavy, dark,
Dark.
what do they call a dark beer?
Stout?
It's stout. It's got a heavy stout taste.
Oh,
to it.
most
Like
definitely, most definitely. But you can tell this, you can taste the smoke, the smoked malts and the smoked barley.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely can.
Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely not as thick as a stout.
All right, well, let's get to it.
But good, yeah. I love these, this is a man's beer.
It is
Oh,
a
yeah.
man's beer. I can feel the hair in my nuts growing.
I can't do.
All right, well, you can feel the hair in my nuts growing? What the hell are you talking
I'm going
about?
to have to trim them up tonight.
My nuts?
No, mine.
Oh, okay.
Trim them mine.
Hey, there's always room for bonding. There's always
Okay.
room for bonding.
Here's the bottom line. It's starting to get dark. We got to get this last story out because I don't want to be in these woods when it gets dark. So,
And to be honest, we're starting to hear some footsteps.
Yeah.
Some footsteps coming around us. And the sad thing is, we hear footsteps, but we don't see anything.
bullshit's what it is.
Yeah.
If anybody
All right.
saw our documentary, I damn near got molested by Bigfoot. So I'm a little more scared than you guys are, but hey, you know.
If there was a hunter, they'd have come up and said howdy.
That's true.
Well, we hope anyway.
Yeah, at least so we hope.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay. Now this is a tale that I'm going to tell that's actually happened to one of my friends. Now I graduated about in 1978. Oh man, shit. I'm getting kind of old.
I'm not going to say anything about your age. But go ahead.
I'm getting kind of old. But anyway, that's neither here. It's, you know, I feel young. I feel young, and that's all that matters.
That's right.
With a little more of these, I'll feel even younger.
Exactly.
But anyway, I had a friend throughout high school. He was an avid hunter and fisherman. He'd go in the woods. He'd live in the woods with his father. They'd go there, hunt, nonstop. I mean, all he wanted to be was basically a woodsman all his life, or get involved in forestry and all that. When our senior year, probably around, it was 1977.
That was me. That was me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
that was my foot on the chair.
Shit. Okay, shit. Okay,
Can't-
yeah.
I kind of could reproduce
Okay, yeah,
it. That was me. All right.
Okay, so around 1977, I noticed he wasn't going hunting anymore. He wasn't going in the woods. And I thought that was odd, but you know,
Yeah.
being guys like that, you just figured out, maybe he's just getting involved in other things.
Yeah.
But
Like women.
I thought, I just never bothered bringing it up to him. But I thought it was strange. Here you got a guy that all he's doing is going hunting, fishing, talking about hunting and fishing, and all of a sudden, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole rest of the year, nothing. Never went hunting, never went fishing, never spoke about it. Quit going to hunting, fishing shows, nothing.
Damn.
A few years after high school, still nothing. So this is probably the mid-'80s, and then finally I came out and asked, I go, you know what? What's up with that? He had a huge gun collection, nothing, you've never gone hunting or fishing or anything like that. And he just kind of blew me off and wouldn't talk about it. 2 years went by, and I brought it up to him again. And he finally told me that he won't go in the woods anymore. And I asked him, why? What happened? He goes, I just won't go in the woods. Well, after some prodding, he finally told me that he felt that he was almost abducted by a Bigfoot.
Gee.
And I asked him, well, what the hell happened? Well, anyway, he proceeded to tell me this story. This occurred in Cook Forest. Have any of you ever been to Cook Forest,
yeah,
Pennsylvania?
The
Yeah.
bumper cars or
Yeah.
whatever the hell.
Well, anyway, Cook Forest does have their occasional Bigfoot sighting.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this occurred probably in the summer of '77. Somewhere around, or maybe the fall of '77, I should say. He and his father, they went hunting. Now, my friend at this point in time was a pretty experienced hunter. He was probably about maybe 16, 17 around the time. So he was old enough, he was old enough. So anyway, the day started out normal. He broke off on his own, as he always did.
Yeah.
Went out hunting. I can't remember what exactly rifle he had, but he was well armed. And the day started out normal. And all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he started getting a strange feeling. Like a feeling that he was just uneasy.
Like a spider sense.
Yeah. Like almost, and I think that as humans, we do have almost like a sixth sense.
Yeah,
like we sense that something's wrong, like we're being watched or something's wrong. And he just couldn't put his finger on it. He didn't see anything, he didn't hear anything, nothing unusual happened to him.
Yeah.
But just something was wrong. Well, anyway, as he was walking to the woods, he came to this, and he was on a trail. There was a trail. And the trail broke into a Y. And in order to get where he had to go to meet up with his father back at the base camp, he had to take a left at the Y.
Yeah.
And as he got to the Y, for some reason, he was overwhelmed with fear and became really petrified. He just did not want to walk down this path to the left.
Yeah.
He just could not bring himself to do it. He just was terrified to do this, and he didn't know why. So he started walking down the right side of this path, and the Y was like wide apart. It was like
Almost like a T?
Yeah, like it just went like almost like a T.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was just like almost like a T, but just a little curve. So anyway, he started walking down to the right side. And he's walking down, and he remembers he ran into a bunch of other hunters because they start meeting and chatting and talking hunter tales, and the hunter said, "Oh, where are you heading to?" He goes, "Oh, I'm heading back to this camp and all that." And they go, "Oh, well, you're definitely going the wrong way. You got to head back to this other place." And my friend goes, "Yeah, I know that. I'm just killing time." So after
a scenic route.
Yeah, he was definitely taking the scenic route. The only problem is that scenic route, there ain't no damn way he was going to get to where he needed to be. And he sure as fuck wasn't going to cut through the damn woods, because that was even more terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he figures, well, you know what, I got to get home one way or the other, so I'm going to have to backtrack on this trail and go back to the Y and head down to the trail where I'm supposed to be walking. So anyway, he walks back down to the path, gets to the point of the Y, or T, or almost like a elongated T, and starts walking down to this path. Now, just to describe to the viewers, or the listeners, I should say, and viewers, you have a path, then you have a little bit of field on each side, and then you have the tree line. Now, as you walk down the path, the field gets more smaller and smaller, and the tree line gets closer and closer to the path, or the trail.
Claustrophobic.
The trail, yeah. Now, as he's walking down the trail, the sense of dread becomes increasing and increasing. And as he's walking down, and now this is about like maybe 3 to 4 miles. This isn't no little pathway here. As he's walking down, he begins to hear something walking along the edge of the tree line.
Oh, shit.
And whatever's walking along the edge of the tree line isn't trying to hide itself.
Yeah.
It's deliberately making as much noise and stomping around deliberately to let itself known. And slowly, my friend, it's kind of like you start to glance off to your side like this, and he sees what he claims. He said it was. Now, it's hard to estimate size, but he claimed this thing was like between 7 to 8 feet tall.
Holy shit.
And right then and there, whatever this is, it's not human, and it's thick, and it's
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. Well, it was too thick to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And the first thing you're thinking of,
a happy thought.
the first thing you're thinking of is, this thing's it's not human.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not human, and you think you're going to die, and you become
I'm thinking that right
panicking.
now.
Yeah, I mean, you're panicking, and and he's walking, and he's almost like a tunnel vision, like trying to keep straight. And this thing's just like moving closer, and it never left the tree line, but it's walking along the edge. But what scared him most is like it would like almost deliberately snap shit when it didn't have to, like
Jeez.
almost
And you can
deliberately.
picture it walking, going,
Yeah.
"You motherfucker."
Now it didn't make any noises or grunts or call out, but it definitely it was I don't know, it was just making like deliberate noises. But what scared my friend was this overwhelming sense of like this thing was out to get him.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he knew this thing was hunting him. He was being hunted.
It's
Yeah.
like when you're in high school and you're waiting at 3 o'clock for the bell to ring so the bully can whoop your ass.
Yeah. Basically, that's it.
You know it's coming. You're just
Well,
not sure
anyway,
when.
as he walked
hate that
He
feeling.
finally made it to the end of the path, and it opened up into a clear field. And at this point in time, my friend is like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. He wouldn't even look at the side. All he did was just hear the noise this thing was making, and the noise would be coming closer as the breaking of the branches because the tree line was coming closer. Well, anyway, he walked off into the open field and was just looking straight and straight, and there was a farmhouse straight in front of him. And he just kept on walking to this farmhouse. He didn't even say, he said, fuck the camp, I'm going to the farmhouse. And he's walking to that. Now, he left the forest and was walking to this house. All of a sudden, dogs start barking, and they were going frantic. They were just going ape shit and barking, and holy shit, what was that?
I don't know. I was looking right at it and didn't see it.
The hell?
I just heard something else too. I heard two things. It sounds like something's throwing rocks at us.
All right, well.
Okay, so my friend's walking to the farmhouse, and all of a sudden these dogs, they just go apeshit. Now mind you, there's about 6 dogs. Now, they're all tied up, but they're still making a hell of a lot of noise. So my friend feels a little relieved because then all of a sudden he sees the owner coming out. My friend just gets enough courage to turn around, and just less than 4 feet behind him, he's seen a Bigfoot walk from behind a tree.
Jeez.
The Bigfoot left the tree, the forest, and was sneaking up behind him, going from tree to tree, and it was like 4 feet from in back of him. He said this thing had to be over 8 feet tall, and he felt this was sneaking up behind him, ready to snatch him. And it almost gave him a look and almost grinned like you got almost a diabolical grin like you got away this time.
No,
And
he
just
ever go
turned
in the
around.
woods? He ever go in the woods again?
He never stepped foot into the woods
Now, this
again.
is the guy that always went hunting.
That right
Yes.
there is a smart man.
He never stepped foot into the woods ever again, never hunted again, never did anything again.
I mean, that's a good story right there. How can you deny?
But he said the look that this thing gave him was like, you got away this time. I mean, he said the look, it was almost like a human being looking at him like saying, you got away this time. He goes, you got away, you made it.
Jeez. Now,
He said it was almost like a human, like a typical human, almost like a serial killer saying, you got away this time.
jeez, that's crazy. That
The
gives
way
me
it
the
looked at
chills.
him.
Well,
And it just turned around, and it didn't even run back in the woods. It just walked slowly. And the owner seen it. They called the cops and all that shit. The owner. Luckily, the guy at the farmhouse even seen it walking back in the woods, and they go, "Yeah, we had a problem. I had a problem with that thing killing some of my pigs and all that shit." He goes, "We've had problems with those things around here." And that was by Cook Forest, Pennsylvania, people.
the moment when you see a Bigfoot behind you, and you're like, all right, that Bigfoot's real, so werewolves might be real, vampires might be real. Flips
That
your whole
changes
fucking
your whole
world.
life right there.
It does.
Because you're told monsters don't exist.
Yeah.
And then you find out. Well, do you know what the boogeyman is? Do you know? You hear the
We're
song?
not going to get into this shit out
No,
in the
no.
middle
Do
of
you
the
know what?
woods.
Do you know what the boogeyman is? When you look up the history, you hear the boogeyman.
Yeah.
The boogeyman. When you look at the history of the boogeyman is a hairy beast that lives in the woods. The boogeyman is Bigfoot. That's what they called Bigfoot before the name Bigfoot came.
Oh, that
So
makes
you
sense.
hear the boogeyman. The
Yeah.
boogeyman is what they called Bigfoot before we now call him Bigfoot and Sasquatch.
I always thought the boogeyman.
That's why in the South. That's why in the South, and the settlers and all them, they used to call Bigfoot the boogeyman, boogers and all that.
See, I always thought the boogeyman slept under your bed and came out when you were sleeping and had sex with you. So I'm glad that.
Well, that's a succubus, but yeah,
Just-
the whole,
succubus.
yeah, that was succubus would have sex with you, but yeah, the whole myth of the boogeyman, that's what they used to call Bigfoot back before we now call him Bigfoot.
That's pretty cool.
Like the
Never knew
the
that.
boogeyman will get you.
Never
The
knew
boogeyman is now what we call Bigfoot.
That is
Son of a
fucking
bitch.
crazy.
So that's where the term the boogeyman comes from. The boogeyman was what they used to call Bigfoot before the now popular term Bigfoot comes.
Yep. Because they didn't always call it a Bigfoot.
Interesting, huh?
That is.
But that's what the boogeyman used to be. But we now call the boogeyman Bigfoot.
All right, well, that's been another episode of Campfire Stories with Drunken D. I can't remember his damn name.
He's not thirsty.
Thirsty D, who's now Drunken D, who sometimes, if he gets a little too drunk, becomes Dirty D.
Hopefully alone. He's Dirty D when he's alone.
Well, no, I don't want to be Dirty D alone. I want to be Dirty D with
Not us.
a lady of my choice. A lady of my choice.
That sounds
A lady of my
Who's
choice. Well, I'll be. Nah, never mind. I don't want to go
That
there.
completely is okay with doing this with them. You know, not some girl against her will.
No, yeah.
All right, well,
We're
tune
keeping
in
it
next
kosher.
time for another episode of Campfire Stories.
Getting dirty with D.
Yeah, something like that. We can't remember the damn name. All right, we'll see you later.